This card makes use of masking. Now I'll show you. To open our ink pads, you have a look at the strip, push it at the strip, flip it open, and then clip it shut. That's how the Stampin' Up! Pads work, and as far as I'm concerned, they're the nicest I've ever used. So I'm stamping the thanks from Heartfelt Thanks onto the card first, and then I'm stamping it onto some sticky note and cutting it up. Now, I didn't re-ink the stamp when I stamped it onto the sticky note. It doesn't have to be the world's greatest image. You just have to be able to see where to cut. Now, you cut inside the line, otherwise you get a halo effect that generally you don't want. Sometimes it is nice depending on what you're doing, but generally you don't want that. So you just cut inside the line and then stick that on the image and then close the ink pad. Now I'm taking, this is the beautiful French script stamp, and I'm going to ink that with the Sahara Sand. So again, flip the pad. And I'm inking, because of the way the pads are designed, you can ink them upside down without being scared that you're going to crack the pad. So I'm inking the stamp. Now you can, if you're very brave, you can pick that up and just stamp it onto your card. Or if you're a bit nervous of the big stamps like I am, you can just take your card, place that onto the stamp, and then gently rub. You can put a piece of scrap paper over the top and rub that if you don't want to get your hands inky, but if you're careful, that doesn't happen anyway. And then you lift that off, and there's your background, and then I peel that sticky note off and close my pad. Now I'm using the Close to Cocoa. The only reason I know these colors is because they're written on the pad, otherwise I wouldn't remember. Inking the flower. And now I'm going to show you something tricky. Take the blue ink pad, and also again, because of the way they're designed, you can press them together, open the pad, and using a blender pen, you can pick up the color and actually color your flower with your ink pad. So then your ink pad becomes very versatile all of a sudden, because you're not just buying an ink pad. As long as you have a set of blender pens, your ink pad then becomes your coloring medium as well, and you've got a range of coloring in colors. Now you can also buy the colors in the Stampin' Spots, which you get all the colors in the color series, and they're just little spots, and you can stamp them onto a bit of acetate or onto your pad, and that will work perfectly. Okay, now once you've colored the flower, I just rub my blender pen onto scrap paper until no more colors showing through, and then I get the green, and you don't clip it shut, I always forget, and you just scoop up some of the color and outline. I don't try and fill it in terribly well because I'm not a great artist, and I'd rather have it look like it was meant to be a bit skew-if. Okay, now what I'm going to do is get some ribbon, and I'm going to run ribbon down the length and the width of the card. So that's that one, and that one. And how I do that is I just get the snail, this is the snail adhesive, and I just run it down the ribbon, and then I lift up the ribbon, make sure that there's no adhesive sticking at the sides. And now before I stick it down, this is the Hodgepodge hardware, which is absolutely fantastic. It's just all bits and pieces, and they work together fantastically with the ribbons. So I'm going to thread this one through and then stick it down on the card. and it's sticking everywhere. What you can do, which would probably be more intelligent, is to thread the buckle through first and then put the sticky on. Okay, and once you've got that on, put that down so that you have a tiny bit of ribbon peeping over each side that you can then just fold under, or trim. Okay, then the next one, take the snail again, run that on the ribbon, that there. I'm just going to trim it. If you fold it under, there's no risk that it's going to fray. That's the only difference. And then stick that onto your blue with your snail. And there's your card.